Video tutorial number 1, drawing in reflected light. Drawing is and always has been throughout all art history fundamental to all art. For me personally, it's significant. I believe that the more proficient you are at drawing, the more experienced you are with the nuances of drawing, the more complex, evolved, sophisticated, captivating your paintings will be. Even if your goal ultimately is to create totally abstract paintings, the more you experiment with drawing and the more comfortable you are with it, the better and more appealing your paintings will become. The tool I like to teach drawing with is the ebony pencil. I like it because you can sharpen it to a really fine point, which allows you to have control and make, small marks, and you can smudge it nicely. So you can make strong darks, you can smudge it with your finger, you can use a kneaded eraser, smudge it a little bit less. It's a great tool. Once you are proficient with the ebony pencil, you can then have the confidence to go to a less forgiving tool like the pen and make sketches that are less specific and more gestural, like these. Or you can go in the other extreme and you can create finished drawings that are masterpieces in and of themselves and use something like charcoal, or I personally like the Conte crayon. It's important to note as we begin to draw that every piece of paper that you draw on and every canvas that you paint on is a flat surface. So the first thing that we want to approach is how you make objects look round and solid and real, and as if they appear to emerge out of the paper or the canvas. So the way we do that is with reflected light. So we're going to turn on the light here, and we have a round object, an apple. So the apple has a direct light source. It's light on one side, it's dark on another, and because it is a round object, there is a halo of light that appears on the edge at the dark side, right before the darkest dark. It's never as light as the lightest light, but it definitely exists. And so when we are going to draw, the first thing is that we're going to put down a very light mark to start. We're never going to do fat over lean, so that, in other words, we're going to always put down a graceful light mark until we are committed to the mark, and then we can put down a stronger mark. We're going to start with our dark side. Our dark side is clearly over here, and we create the darkest dark at just before the very edge, and at that edge is the reflected light, which is light, but not as light as the lightest light. And if you note that an apple is round this way, but it is also round this way. So we're going to have marks that go both ways. When you draw anything that's round, you want to have curved marks. You want your marks to be curved as if you are literally sculpting that round object. Additionally, you put your pencil down, or your paintbrush if you were painting, in the dark area, and then you go across. You don't go back and forth so that you have a darker mark in the lighter side. You want your dark mark to always be at its origin where it's the darkest. And because it is an object in nature, it's bumpy and random, so that some marks are going to be long, some marks are going to be short. And you can blend with your finger and just keep going over it and over it until you create this soft gradation of dark, going from dark to medium to light. Another thing that's important to put down is the shadow on the table. It shows the direct light source, and it also enhances the reflected light. Now, the darkest part of any shadow is going to be right at the object, and then it naturally gradates out. And your marks, when you're doing something like a shadow on a table, are going to be straight lines versus the curve of the apple, because this fools the viewer into seeing it as a flat surface.
it.